Hey, it's me, Miss B. Delicious, you know me. Let's get off into this video about the 4-year-old that's missing from Houston, Texas, MALEAH Davis, who was allegedly killed and dismembered by her stepfather, Dorian Vince. Now, April 30th is the last day she was allegedly seen on the video. We all saw that, okay? But she was never seen again on video. And Mom had shared some text messages with a friend, and I tried to make some sense of it. And I think I pretty much did. But in my mind, in my emotion from reading the text messages from what I'm hearing, I think Malia's last days were April the 30th. That moment she returned from school. Because as you all know, if you hadn't seen it, pay attention. At the end of this video, I'll bring all of that stuff up for you so you can see it. But nevertheless, the teacher said that Malia had not been in school since April the 26th. So when her brother went to school on the 30th, the teacher asked where was Malia. That meant when he picked his child up from child care, Malia was not with him. But nevertheless, it's on video that he left the house with 2 children. And he came back with Malia within an hour. And then he leaves back out without Malia just about 9 o'clock. But then you need to listen to read the text messages and listen to what I'm reading to accurately put a time on when Malia was last seen. Listen up. As you can see, it clearly states he left her home with all 3 children. And at this point, she did not see him come back into the home. So listen. Allegedly, Brittany states she was supposed to be at daycare, but he snuck her into the house when I wasn't around and I didn't see her come in. I only saw him. When they left that morning, all 3 of my kids, I had already went into their rooms. Clearly someone else stated, that sick bastard. Then she stated, I saw them physically leave. I'm a smoker, so I'm always on the patio. I didn't see shit. Man, I had no reason to go back in her room. You know. Then the party said, what day was that? Same girl, I'm on mine smoking now. And she never came out. And this is killing me. The day I left, right before my best friend came and got me to bring me, I'm assuming to the airport, he apparently snuck her in the house while I was at the house. Friend says, wow, that's so fucked up. Then she says, he had her in the room after I had already looked. This nigga knew my routine. And it shows you're leaving and not her anymore. That's what the other party said. Brittany says, I always check my kids' room, always. And because I had always done that and I saw them physically leave, I had no reason to look anymore. He leaves with the kids. I'm home. He comes back with Malia without me knowing. She never came out of the room. She never said anything. I leave with just him and my friend. Seeing just us 2. Fuck. I wish we would have came back with her food. And we were supposed to. Man, dang. My friend came and got me to bring me to the airport. He walked right out with me. She seen Malia wasn't with us. Man, I can't prove that. I just fucking can't, man. He went to work for 1 hour. The daycare never called me and told me she wasn't coming. Like, I'm so fucked up about this shit. The other party said, that camera your neighbor have should be able to see him leaving with all 3, then coming back with her, if that's what he did. And sure enough, it did. Then Brittany says, I may not be the best parent, and I may not have all my ducks in a row, but I didn't fucking know. It does. So the other party tried to butter up the conversation by saying, how do you feel like he set you up? You have an alibi. You were out of town. Brittany goes on to say, no, it's not that. The problem is I can't prove that this dude snuck her back in without me fucking knowing. He was there is the issue. I have proof of everything else, but I fucking can't prove that shit. And if I could find this nigga, I would rip his head off my darn self. The more information I find out from the cops, the more I sit here and think, the more I think about how this nigga set this up. Other party says, what day do you think he snuck her back in? Before you left? Snuck her back into the apartment. Where was she supposed to be? Brittany replied she was supposed to be at daycare. You can see she was last seen at daycare on the 26th. The 3rd, she was reported missing. Take a look. Malia was last seen at school on the 26th. No mention if the kids went that following Monday. Tuesday the 30th, Malia came back with Vince. Question is, where did he hide her? I personally believe Vince held Malia in the basement or somewhere around the apartment complex until Brittany left. As we all recall, Brittany said that they were in arguments and they had been fighting. So what kind of fights? So that's why I say she scratched him up. He didn't go to the doctor until the 4th. That's why I believe Brittany both scratched him during an altercation, a fight. Look at those fresh wounds on his neck. As a woman, I know what our nails can do, and men nails can do it too. But a woman scratched him. All of his scratches are in the front of his body, not at his back. Moving on. As we all know, the car was found. The car was found off of Highway 6 area, Riverstone Boulevard. Missouri City area. Yeah, and Brittany stay in the southwest area. But remember, the car was found with a laundry basket in it. As we all know, the time on that video said 1:40, where time had been adjusted. So it might have been actually 2:40. You know what I mean? It's because the video stated 1:40 does not make it actual time. Now, on April 3rd, 2019 at 6:40 p.m., I personally believe it was 7:40 because Dad stated he came to that home to get 2 children and left with 1. And he was told that he couldn't get his daughter because she was sick. That's on the 3rd. Now, if you listen, I'm going to give you my very own thoughts. My personal opinion is Craig did come to the house approximately 7 o'clock. I think the video clock showing us 6:40 is inaccurate. I think it was actually 7:40. Craig came in the midst of cleaning up the mess. And I think that's why Brittany could not get into her apartment. Nevertheless, I pulled up a map from where Brittany stayed to where the car was found. Make it make sense. I think on April the 30th, he hid Malia somewhere in the building, in somebody's apartment, if not in the basement of that apartment complex. And I also think that he waited and escorted her out of the building with her friend to get into that vehicle. And that's when he did what he was doing. And that's ending her life. I personally, in my opinion, think that him and Brittany had that argument and that fight, and he escorted her daughter to school as she told him because she looked like the loudmouth kind of chick, and she put a demand, and he was so angry he brought her daughter back to the house. He hid her in that apartment complex until she left the premises. He made sure because he escorted her straight to her friend's car, and like she said, her daughter wasn't with her. And nevertheless, once he did that, he came back into that building, retrieved Malia, and caused harm to her that day. Because later on that day, on April the 30th, he went back to the school. The teacher asked him where was Malia, and she was not with him, her daddy, or her mama. So that only tells me she may have been deceased April the 30th. I don't know about y'all now, but that's what it tells me. Go ahead and let that marinate. So if she didn't go to the school, where was she? And who was she with? Now that I said all of this, let me show you guys the map. Now, as you all can see, we're at the starting point of Southwest where Brittany stayed. And then we're going to stroll on down where they found Brittany's car up in that area. So let's just focus on that. You see it. Riverstone area. Now my question to you guys is, they're looking in wooded areas around that way. But what about lakes and rivers? I don't know. I'm inclined to believe Mr. Derry Vince could not have done this on May the 3rd and 4th. I think he did it April the 30th. And it took him 1 or 2 days to dismember her body in the house. And nevertheless, he put her in the garbage bag and took her down to a river or lake right off that area where the car was found. I personally believe they're searching in the wrong areas. That's my belief. This child looks like she enjoyed water. Click like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell button.